I don't believe it. Just as I'm making this video, the servers go down. Thank you, DDoSers. Hey the berries, welcome to my pre-Dawntrail checklist. This is kind of like my own personal checklist, and you're more than welcome to take a couple of ideas here and there for your own kind of checklist. I know there's a few videos like this already out there, but I feel like a lot of them just repeat themselves, and the things on my checklist, there's one or two the same, but a lot of it's actually different. So maybe there's some things that I thought of that you haven't realized yet. So I've got 11 things here that I've kind of jotted down over the past few days and keeping track of what I'm doing and what I need to do on the way to the Dawntrail release for Final Fantasy XIV. Now the first thing is of my 11 tips, tip number 1 is the Chocobos. So everyone seems to have neglected the Chocobos, and I found that they were pretty nice, ranking up them for the leveling process from leveling my paladin. If you don't know, Chocobos can do damage, they can do healing and tanking for you, and they hit level 10, but they can go beyond that. They can go all the way up to level 20 and provide you with even more damage, more healing, and more tanking capacity, especially if you're interested in leveling multiple jobs. I personally am just sticking on mainly paladin, but I wouldn't mind leveling my Chocobo up even more in order to get more traits and just kill things out in the wild a bit quicker, especially when you're going to be doing the Dawntrail fates and things like that. You might be finding that you might be by yourself a few times. So pretty good way to just prep for Dawntrails, get your Chocobo up. So if you don't know how to summon your Chocobo, a lot of vendors in around the world do sell these kind of items called Greshal Greens. They're pretty cheap. I would advise you just buy a stack of 99 for 3.5k gil. And what we're going to do is we're just going to hop out of the world and summon the Chocobo. Now, when you hit level rank 10 on your Chocobo, it won't gain any more experience. So first, let's summon the Chocobo. Chocobo companion, summon. There's my birds. So my Chocobo is currently rank 10. So you can see it's rank 10, 0 out of God knows how much XP that is. So it can't gain any more XP. What you're going to need is a Thavnairian onion. Now you can buy this off the market board. Average price for these onions are around about 200,000 gil. You can grow these your own if you're crazy. And you can get 2 from quests as well, which I'll put down in the description down below. Apparently, I had already done one of the quests, so I wasn't able to get a free onion. So I did actually buy 2 of these onions off of the market board. I did also world hop in order to buy these onions as well, because on my current server, on Chaos, Ragnarok, on EU, these onions are like 250,000. I managed to grab these ones for around about 160k. By going on to a different server, so I saved myself 200,000 gil, just by changing world. So it's definitely worth looking online to see if the other servers are a bit cheaper. Anyway, so all we need to do is, now that it's maxed out, if we feed it an onion by just right clicking it and then using use, ta-da, and now it's gained that 1 star. Do not give it another onion, tuck that away and don't even look at that again. So now we will be able to, when we kill things and do fates and stuff, this Chocobo will rank up, and then once it can't gain any more XP at the end, we'll do the same again, eat another onion, get another star, and you can do this 10 times. You can just keep making it stronger and stronger and stronger. As you can see, we've got some SP here, so SP we can just increase the strength of the Chocobo and give it some more accuracy, so that it's going to help me kill things a bit quicker. So that's going to transition into my tip number 2, which is going to coincide with leveling your Chocobo. Now that you've done that, if you haven't done that already, is fates in Shadowbringers and Endwalker. So if you do fates in Shadowbringers and Endwalker, you get a currency called Bicolour Gemstones, and then what you can use those with is basically you can hand them in to a vendor in the same region as you are doing those fates. So each fate region will have a Bicolour Gemstone vendor, and from that vendor you can buy region specific crafting materials. So even if you're not a crafter yourself, it's worth getting a lot of these, because your free company people might want to use them, or the people in your static, in order to make the crafted gear, later on, so that they can get as strong as possible and give you the best crafted items in the game pretty early on, or you can just sell them for money. So pretty easy way just to rank up your Chocobo and get those gemstones in, ready for Dawntrail. Then you have 1,000 when you go into Dawntrail. You can buy a bunch of stuff from the first few regions if you want to, and then make some easy profit, give them to your friends. Tip number 3, which is the thing I'm probably dreading the most before getting ready for Dawntrail, and I think it's probably up there on most people's, is the inventory clean out. Yep, you're going to want to clear out a lot of your inventory ready for Dawntrail. I haven't yet done it. I'm a bit of a procrastinator, but I'll make sure I try and do it before Dawntrail comes out. But it will save you a lot of time. And just clearing, looking at my inventory right now, it's a complete mess. You're going to want to do the same with retainers. I would actually recommend you could either clear out one retainer or just have a retainer. Buy a new retainer, a monthly subscription retainer. At least it'd be empty and clear. You got all this extra materia that you might want to save going into Dawntrail, converting them into higher tier chances at the guy in the materia melding guy, probably for a different video another day. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is just junk, and it'd be really good just to clear out at least one retainer, just keep it completely blank and just Dawntrail ready. Just put all the Dawntrail crafting materials and get everything in there, so you just know it's clear and safe. Now, while we are at the retainer, it does bring into my next tip, tip number 4, is I've been doing this already for quite a long time, but you might not get them to the max level before Dawntrail, but you will want to get your retainers up to level 90 if possible before Dawntrail. If you don't know how to do that, you're going to need ventures. These silver currency at the top right hand corner. I've got 233 of those. I would recommend, if you're playing a lot, like if you're having a full day of playing, every hour just going in, completing the assignments that they're on, and then reassigning them and sending them straight out again. That's going to give you the best XP per hour. If you aren't playing that often, then your next best option is the 18-hour one. I think it's the 18 hours, 16 or 18 hours. Let's have a look. So assigned venture, then we want to do the exploration. Yeah, 18 hours. The downside to this, though, is that you will need to maintain their gear on. Whereas if you do quick exploration, it doesn't matter what gear they have. So as you can see, I've been neglecting the botany, I think this one is, gear score. Just a little bit. It's still in level 30 gear, but I've just been doing quick exploration. So that is one of the benefits. If you are going to be doing, I think it's 3 quick explorations. If you're able to do 3 quick explorations in the 18-hour period, then it does provide more XP than an 18-hour one, but you will need more ventures, and you will need to be paying attention and doing it as as often as they pop up. Sometimes the ventures do come back with some pretty interesting items back from their quick explorations. I've had all sorts of housing items. You get some bunch of stuff here that you can use for desynthesizing, or you can just vendor them straight back out. It's up to you what you want to do with those. But yeah, I've had a couple of housing items that I've ended up selling for about 50 to 100k gold. So totally worth doing. And then once you hit 90 to level 100, you can then tell them to go on specific things like going for rare or more annoying gathering materials, like materials that you can also get with the Bicolour Gemstones. It's just going to save you as a crafter a lot of money, or if you are interested in making money, it's going to be a good way to be making money to get help. Whack on the market board like levers and all sorts of random ingredients there that are going to be really low and annoying drop rates. Now, my tip number 5 comes to buffs. So when Dawntrail releases, you're going to want to, in theory, get to max level on your jobs as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, one of the best ways to do that is being in an active free company. You're more than welcome to join mine at Chaos Ragnarok on EU. But if you have your own free company, then that's great. And there's a couple of other methods you can do to get some free company buffs if you don't have access to that. Now you have your standards on the free company actions, which is the grade 2. So for example, this one gives 10% XP, but you can actually get a better one, but it does require a free company house. So we have this wheel generating here. It's a Etherical wheel, and we have just started making grade 3 confrontations. Now, ideally we would have started this process sooner, but we were only able to get our free company house actually a couple of days ago. So what this will do, it takes a really, really long time to do. So if you can get on this as soon as possible, even better. But this will basically generate increased XP earned through battle, 15% for everyone in the free company for 24 hours. So ideally we're going to want a few of these going during the first couple of weeks of Dawntrail to help people get to that level 100 cap as quickly as possible. You know, there's a couple of new jobs coming out as well, like Viper and Pictomancer. They start level 80, so having a 15% XP boost for them to catch up and get into Dawntrail as quickly as possible. It's going to be really, really nice and extra handy. Like an extra 5%, it ends up adding up to being quite a lot, especially if you are like leveling up to 1 to 100 and having to do a couple of other jobs for your free company if you're doing statics and things. So extra percentage boost there. If you don't have access to the free company ethereal wheel, or you have a free company that is running buffs that you not interested in, say if you are interested in stuff like Spiritbonding or some gathering XP or some other kind of things like that, if you go to your squadrons, which I'll take you to over now, and here I am in Uldar outside my Hall of Flames area here in Uldar. Just take the door on the left. You should have it unlocked, right? You've done squadrons, you've been maintaining your squadrons, you haven't left them AFK here, have you? Well, now's the perfect time to actually start working these squadrons, because you will want to send them out on assignments. So on the priority missions, you can do these once per week. Which was a shock to me because I did one for the first time last week or this week, and yeah. So the level 40 ones give you 5 of something that you choose. So in my case, my guys managed to complete the mission for the squadrons gathering. I'm not allowed to change where I put that, but basically 20% XP gained from gathering activities for 2 hours. So if your free companies aren't running those, you can add those on addition. So say if your free company is running like combat and then reduce teleport rates, you can whack that on. So these don't stack. So say if your free company is already running like the 20% gathering XP buff, that's not going to stack. But this will basically add as an additional buff. So you can have like 3-4 free company buffs running at the same time if you really want to. So the level 40 ones give you 5 of those, whereas level 50 ones give you 10 of those. So if you are able to complete the level 50 ones, you obviously want to try and pay attention to those. If you have forgotten how the squadron system works, you see at the top right hand corner you've got the strength and then the mental ability and the tactical ability. Every time you light up one of these, it gives you a 33% chance. If you manage to get all of them glowing green, that ends up being a 100% chance. So you might just want to fish for some things that you do want to go for, like Spiritbonding here. We're going to be talking about in a second, could be really, really important for you and will make things a lot quicker in terms of getting the materia later on. If you don't really care about materia, or if you want to get some other different XP, we've got like the crafting XP there too, more gathering, got combat as well if your free company isn't able, or if you're not in a free company. Got MGP for gold saucer. You got seal bonus, which is not the super most useful, not the worst though. Wear and tear and etherite teleportation passes. So I would honestly just focus on getting either Spiritbonding, gathering, or crafting. Your free company should always be having the combat buff up. Now that's a decent segue now into Spiritbonding. So there's a few things that you can do in terms of Spiritbonding. So if you're not familiar with Spiritbonding, when you have when you've been wearing gear and you've been using it over a set period of time, whether it's gathering, crafting, or fighting in battle, your spirit bond percentage will go all the way from 0% to 100%. You can also identify in the bottom right hand corner, which I'm going to try and do with my green screen, but over here, there. Oh my god! What? Over there. Yes. Hold on. Let me just slide over. Over here, you see those little dots on the bottom. Some of them are green. Some of them are white. The white ones are the ones that you're going to want to extract material from. So that means that are ready. So in this case, the bottom left slot, which is my boots, is ready to be extracted. So you want to extract the materia from that. Wow, you get free materia. Now when the new expansion comes out, there will be new materia to get on the higher level gear. So spirit bonding right now isn't fantastic because a lot of it doesn't go for very much unless you're doing maybe the gathering and crafting ones, which even is still not worth it. But early on, you'll want to get the highest materia on to do pentamelding, which is adding up to 5 materia onto an item, which has like a lower percentage chance every single time. So you're going to need to throw an absolute truckload of materia on an item to get 5 stacks of materia on. Usually that only works on crafted gear. So that's where the crafted gear is probably going to be pretty good going into the raids at the start of Dawntrail. Same with the crafted gathering and the crafted gear. Yeah. But you're going to want to basically increase your spirit bond. So spirit bonding from the squadron seals are probably going to be pretty important. I don't imagine many free companies are necessarily going to be running the grade 3 equivalent. So picking up some spirit bonding from your missions is going to be a really good idea pre-Dawntrail. But you've also got a few spirit potions here. You have the superior and the potent. The potent is cheaper, gives +5. The best one at the moment is +6. There could be a better one coming into the expansion, so it might be worth keeping an eye on that. Also on spirit bonding, high quality gear, if it's a high quality item, generates an extra 20%. Every single materia added to an item increases the spirit bonding percentage gaining every single time. I believe it's 20% again per materia. And also +1 from each one of these, I believe, is also another 20%. So you can get a lot of buffs here. You can also get a crowned pie from Madonna, which also requires a lot of flame seals to also buy. And then you hand them in at the Madonna vendor to get crowned pies. Now that's going a bit into the extreme end just to squeeze out more spirit bonding. But I mean, if you've got the extra time to do so, and you've already done a lot of the tips I've already mentioned previously, then you could look into getting some of those extra crown pies to get that spirit bonding up. I should probably add how to actually get the crown pies, since I'm going to keep this guide kind of basic. But basically, if you go to, from me, the Flame Quartermaster, it could be different for you if you're Gridania or Limpsa. But Flame Quartermaster for me, and then I go into the materials in the last tab. And now basically you want 6 of basically anything here really that costs 600. So you could do the dark bones, you could do the camel hair. I'll just do the camel hair just to show an example. That's while I'm here. I know I'm going to be buying a lot of crown pies anyway. I'm going to buy 60. So we'll do that. Also, if you are able to, you can also do the Ixtal, a Realm Reborn, kind of Beastall tribe thingies, factions. I've only just started doing it, and I noticed they also give moonstones. So if you actually get moonstones from that faction, one of those gives you a pie. So could be some inspiration before Dawntrail kicks in to do beast tribes. But yeah, the moonstone, we got one of those. So I'm going to be heading to Mordonna, and there's an NPC just up the road where he will give us the creamed pies. That's not what I wanted to say at all. The crowned pies, right? Totally not got anything else on my mind. Oh boy, do we leave that in? I think we do. Why not? So if we go to assorted accoutrements, and then we have options here to hand in a moonstone for a crown pie, which gives us +2 Spirit Bond. So we'll trade one of those, thank you. And then we have the camel hair. As you can see, you got the other things there. You got Dock Bones and Black Cinnabar and a bunch of other stuff there too that you can hand in. You need 6 of to hand in, and because I picked up 60 camel hair, I can hand that in, and I'll get 10 pies in return. So now we've got 11 better crown pies, so that gives me +2 Spirit Bonds. So that can be used in combo with the Free Company buff, or the Squadron buff, and the potion, and the pie. And it's unlikely that you're going to be able to do this later on, but there are some Spirit Bonding items and gear that you can get as well. But you're probably going to struggle to gather the materials if you use the gear that has plus Spirit Bonds. So not really recommended to use the Spirit Bonding gear sets from that. But so you got the potion, you got the pie, and then you've got the equivalent of a Spirit Bonding manual there from Squadrons. Next thing on my list, my step 7, tip 7, whatever you want to call it, is the quest clear. Now this isn't MSQ stuff. This included for me the Mandeville quest line, so I'd recommend completing the Mandeville quest line because who knows, Square Enix might want to put us through some more pain in Dawntrail with Mandeville. But the main reason for the Mandeville quest line is to be able to start getting the better weapons for the primary class that you're looking into. It will end up costing in total 6,000 Allegan Tombstones of causality. I'm on part 2 out of 4 of that, and you can get, I believe, 5 item level. It's pretty good. Whatever it is, you're going to want to do it to get as much damage out as possible, which means killing things faster equals leveling faster, equals doing the quests faster, equals doing the dungeons faster, everything going super fast. So would highly recommend that you look into doing the Mandeville questline. But also, just generally, my quest logs are terrible, and I've got a lot of things to do here in terms of clearing out all of these blue exclamation mark things in my log. I'm going to try and get through them as much as I can. And maybe your quest log is looking the same as well, but you might want to free up some quest space for Dawntrail 2, rather than leaving it capped like I have right now, 30 out of 30. So yeah, I'm going to be going through a lot of these old blue quests that I've never completed and stuff, and just knocking those off so I don't have to go back and kind of worry about them again. So my step 8 is getting ready for the crafting scripts going into Dawntrail. As you may know already, we have 2 different types of scripts. We've got the white scripts and the purple's crafter scripts. Now, what's going to happen, I've been told during the expansion, is that these purple crafter scripts will be diminished into worse quality equivalent of the white crafter scripts. But there are always some useful things that you are going to be able to pick up when the expansion hits with the equivalent of the expansion's white crafter scripts. So it's going to be worth stockpiling a good amount of those because, you know, there are materials that you're going to be able to buy and use for your crafts at level 100. And you can preemptively stock up a decent amount of white crafter scripts now if you want to. This is like a thing that I would wait until maybe a few days before the expansion. Probably wouldn't want to do it a week before then, because the crafting items themselves are going to be clogging up in your inventory quite a lot. But the main thing that I myself have been crafting, and I think everyone recommends, is the rarefied Sycon Bavarois. I probably butchered that, but whatever. So it's a Thavnairian item right here. The materials for this are really simple and easy. If you are struggling to craft this, then the only thing that I would recommend that you high quality in your macros is the palm sugar. High quality in the gelatin does basically nothing. It only adds like an absolute minute quality. Just focus if you are struggling on the craft and you don't want to go into full like crafted pentamelding gear just before Dawntrail, because it is kind of excessive now at this point to do that, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be throwing 10 to 20 million gil doing this, doing the pentamelding beforehand. So I myself, have to use the high quality palm sugar, which takes up a little bit more time, but you want to stock up on these. So as I said before, the collectibles do take up a slot each, and going kind of back to what I said about clearing out your inventory, you can then have a retainer set up that just has a load of these scripts ready, because when you hand them in, you're going to get the seals. So if we hand them in right now, we're going to get the 144 of the purple crafter scripts. That will then, you want to cap out on those for sure. When Dawntrail hits, you want to be 4,000 on the purple scripts. And then you're going to want to have a bunch of those in your inventory, because if you look at the previous, say, look, the lemonade, the rarefied lemonades, those get converted into the equivalent of the white scripts. So it'd be worth having just a bunch of those in the retainer, and then you can, and once you get to like level 100 and you start going through the white scripts, you can replenish them super easily with basically no effort. Just pop to your retainer, get the rarefied Psychon Bavarolus out, hand them back into the exchanger, get your white scripts back, and then carry on doing what you're doing rather than having to stop, figure out what you need to craft. You could literally waste a couple, 2, 3, 4 hours just doing that, and then, you know, in the first couple of weeks in terms of making money in expansion, 2, 3, 4 hours, a lot of the market board can change in that time. So yeah, you don't want to be falling behind in the scripts when you could have easily prepared beforehand. So for me myself, I'm going to be stockpiling a lot of these, the Psychons, the gelatin, the palm sugar, and the Ovibos milk, which comes from, you can gather that yourself if you're crazy, but you can use the Bicolour gems that we were talking about earlier to buy the milk. So I'm going to be doing lots of fake grinding over the next few weeks, getting a lot of that milk, and then working to cap out for 1,000 for the expansion. Now, tip number 9 for me is going to be a surprise for a lot of people, I think, but it's going to be the Island Sanctuary. Now, from the research that I've done, Island Sanctuary might get some very small updates going into Dawntrail, but there is going to be something in Dawntrail that's going to potentially replace the Island Sanctuary thing anyway. But there's kind of like a couple of reasons why Island Sanctuary is on my list. I don't really want to go back to this, and kind of, I want to get this done as much as possible before Dawntrail hits, so I don't have to kind of like go back to it as much as such. But on the small chance that things like materia ends up being useful here, or if they add anything else to the shops here in your Island Sanctuary, then giving it some maintaining, spending like an hour a week here just to get the Crowies up could be totally like worth it. So I'm going to be doing it personally. This is probably going to be like last on a lot of people's lists, or not on their list at all. But there is things like the materia and dyes. You might want some dyes going in, changing your gear later on, because they're going to have like the 2 dye setup. So you might want to factor that in when you're clamming up your gear, which is going to be a big end game in Dawntrail. But yeah, you got the materia here already. You got the materia 10 and the materia 9. The materia 10 being the best, and then materia 9 being like the lower quality one. But you might want to use some of the materia in order to top off items to get to certain thresholds. So it could be worth saving some extra money here by having the Crowies spared up. There really is no effort doing the Crowies. Like, as long as you're just you can let the mammoths just do pretty much nearly everything. And then you just have to then set your workshops up once a week. And then you can kind of just leave it there if you really wanted to, and just come in, collect your Crowies, collect your material, and then just be kind of on your merry way. It's you can make this as much high or low effort as you want, but I've kind of realized my Sanctuary rank is only level 10. I only started this maybe 3 weeks ago. I only kind of completed the MSQ quest line around about then as well, so yeah, I've been really like low efforting it as well. Probably spent maybe a maximum here like gathering manually maybe 2 to 3 hours overall, and even that was probably like, you don't need to do that at all. But yeah, as long as you're just keeping your workshop flow going, getting the XP from that. I've been manually manually doing my animals and plants, but I don't know if that's the right phrasing to use there, but manually getting the leavings of the animals, giving a good amount of XP. Doing the plants as well, because there are achievements tied to the animal leavings and the crops as well, so that's the only reason why I've been doing it manually. But you can talk to these mammoths and set them on auto. They will take a little bit of your Crowies as a price, but it's totally worth doing just to make sure stuff is flowing while you're busy in Dawntrail, and it'd be worth doing or setting these onto auto when Dawntrail hits as well, because you're not going to be wanting to come back here for, I want to say forever, but maybe like a month or so at least. So you might as well set these mammoths on auto and pay them to be working on auto while you're out in the world in Dawntrail doing more important things. Now my last two kind of points here, my tip 10 and my tip 11 are kind of like more general kind of things. Tip 10 for me is just generally making money, which, you know, is pretty generic. Everyone wants to make money. But the few things that I've seen that have been really working out for myself and a few other people in the free company on the lead up to Dawntrail, here are some things that we'll kind of like think about rather than a specific guide about it. But some tips I can give you are treasure maps, especially the level 90 Elpis treasure maps. I would highly recommend that. I believe there's going to be an irregular Moogle tombstone event soon where you're going to get like the green versions of those maps soon too, which you can hand in for those scrolls. So going to be lots of map stuff heading up towards Dawntrail if you aren't doing that already. The amount of gil is absolutely insane, by the way. Like the raw gil alone for everyone in the group is amazing. And then we had one person in our free company 2 weeks ago get it wasn't the Emmet one pet, it was the other one. I can't remember which one it was, but then she sold that for like 15 million gil. So we've probably done a bunch more treasure maps since then, maybe another like 50 or 60 or so, and haven't seen one of those in particular yet that was special like minion drops. But if you want to use them, go for it, but they can sell for a lot of the mount stuff. You get lots of little random things too, like glam material. But one of these resplendent feathers, I believe that's the right one. If you get 3 of those, you can convert those into a mount, but you can also put them on the auction house, the marketplace, and they sell for around 300k gil each. And that does include like glam materials that sell for around about 200k each and all that kind of stuff. So you can make a lot of money from doing treasure maps and just grinding out treasure maps and more treasure maps and more maps. But I do highly recommend the level 90 ones just because you do get the most amount of raw gil. So even if you don't get drops, the raw gil is amazing, especially if you get like some of the event procs happening, like the exclamation mark, landing on an exclamation mark on the wheel just makes you get so much more treasure chests as long as you don't get kicked out. It's super insane money. I think every time we were spending like 3 or 4 hours with a group of people doing that, I think it was basically like a, you know, the equivalent the whole group was making just in raw gil. I think it was like around about like 8 million gil per hour or something absolutely insane. So it will vary a little bit depending on RNG on the stuff. So, but yeah, and I think that was just kind of like raw gil. It was a lot of money. And the maps, honestly, right now are still kind of cheap. The Ophirio, whatever they're called. I don't think I have any on me right now, but they are really good. No, I do have one. I have one on my Chocobo. Can I access my Chocobo starter sack in here? Yeah, I do. They're these ones. Yeah, the Time Worn Ophirio Toro skin maps. At the moment, I think they're only going for like 10 to 15k right now, and it's just like, it's totally worth just buying them from the market board, and then you can have one in your inventory. You can have one on your Chocobo saddle sack. You can have one deciphered as well, so you can have 3 on you at one time. If you've got a party of 8, 3 times 8 maps, and then you can go back again if you want to. Everyone picks up 3 more maps. You might want to server hop at that point because the map prices might go up if all of you are going to be buying 3 maps each at the same time. But yeah, you got the maps are like really good money. If you are unable to be in a free company that takes part of maps, like, you know, the free company that I'm in, if you want to join, you've also got gathering crystals, because the crystals are going to be super important going in for crafts later on. Crafters are going to be hoarding them. Some of them are going to be not going to be bothering to gather them, especially the super rich crafters that have like literally 999 gil. They are not going to be manually gathering them themselves. They're just going to be buying them from the marketplace. So if you want to gather those, I would highly recommend that. If you switch to, if I switch to botany here, for example, you're going to want to use like stuff like the Giving Land every time it procs and the 12's bounty. That'll just give you more crystals. Yeah, maybe go towards maybe more of like the I wouldn't say like go for the water ones, but the fire ones usually do like really well. and any other kind of types. If you look at the market board place, I'll put a link for that in the description down below. And kind of compare the prices and try and go for the ones that are for the most, and then maybe have some materials also that you can gather on the side to also sell for a profit. So you're kind of maybe like usually doing that in a slightly lower level area, because you're gaining materials that are going to be used for people leveling in their crafts, which a lot of people are doing at the moment because they want to get their crafts up to level 90 ready for Dawntrail. So you can kind of like make 2 lots of money in one go, getting some random lower level materials like level 30, 40 materials end up doing pretty well, plus gathering crystals at the same time. You can make a steady amount of income just doing that, and just get a Netflix on, whatever, podcast on in the background, and just gather for an hour, make some easy money. Won't be the best XP, but it will be some very, very easy money. If you're not capped out on your gatherers, you're not going to be making getting much XP, but yeah. But you do need to be level 74 to be able to unlock the Giving Land. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing this anyway until you hit level 74 anyway. So hit level 74 before you do that, and then go crazy on the gathering crystals. And then for my final tip, which is going to sound as a bit out there. It's not really to do with the game, but it's like, if you are working around Dawntrail and you want to take work time off, do not take the Friday off. Okay, so when you pre-dawn Dawntrail, you will have access to the game it starts on the Friday, and you got the weekend, and then it's like Monday, and then I think the game fully releases on the Tuesday. Don't take time off for the Friday. I think it's literally the biggest mistake you can do. Take it off on the Monday at the earliest. There are server issues right now before Dawntrail has kicked in with people alleged DDoS. I don't know how much of it is a DDoS. We haven't heard like if the DDoS people are like what they're mad about. But just keep an open mind in terms of the servers are probably going to be absolutely garbage on Friday and probably the weekend too. So don't take time off work and then be disappointed and start making rants and stuff. Just treat it maybe like a full release. It's going to be on like the Saturday if you're lucky, maybe the Monday, because the servers, especially on EU right now, the last few days, last week really, been kind of sketch. Got kicked out of dungeons yesterday. Been kicked out of dungeons a couple of days before that. Even when making this video at the very beginning, nearly got kicked out. So yeah, there's something funky going on right now. I don't know if they're stress testing as well in the background. We don't know what's going on right now. All I can say is really don't give your hopes up for the Friday. Just book if you're busy and have a proper job, unlike me. Book the time off for the Monday. So yeah, hopefully this kind of helped. Maybe there's a couple of things here that you didn't think about getting ready for Dawntrail. I am looking to making more Final Fantasy 14 content in the future. Probably more kind of general, more casual kind of stuff like this. I don't imagine I'm going to be doing any kind of guides and stuff for Savage Mode and all that kind of stuff. But it will be kind of more casual, plus events, plus gathering and crafting stuff, and anything that I kind of pop up that feels like that might need some sort of explanation. But I hope you like the content. Please give it a subscribe if you want to, and yeah, see you for Dawntrail. And if you do want to join a free company and you come back to Final Fantasy and you kind of need a community to join in with, we have a link shell on EU Chaos that is pretty active, and we have a free company that's pretty active too. We have around about 15 people online every evening. Everyone's like 18 plus, mature. Yeah, just chill. The only requirement is just be chill, and you'll be more than welcome to join in. And then we do like maps and stuff. This weekend we're planning on doing some fun gold saucer content, more maps I think as well, because we're going to make some money before Dawntrail. And we've been helping each other do like dungeons and roulettes and all that kind of stuff. So if that's something that you're kind of interested in, and we are looking to do statics, but it's pretty much as soon as Dawntrail gets released if we're able to, then yeah, it's the Berrybush on Ragnarok. All the best, guys. Take care. Bye.